Welcome to City Times, your number one place for Manchester City match updates, transfer news, and behind-the-scenes training action. If you love City as much as we do, you're in the right place. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to stay connected with everything happening at the City fans. Let's go, citizens! Antoine Semenyo to Manchester City. Transfer bombshell dropped as Jamie Redknapp details Liverpool twist. Antoine Semenyo is set to leave Bournemouth this month, and Manchester City had been the leading contenders for his signature. Sky Sports pundit Jamie Redknapp believes Liverpool could make a late move for Antoine Semenyo and potentially hijack the Bournemouth forward switch to Manchester City. The 26-year-old is set to leave the Cherries with a £65 million release clause in his contract, prompting interest from leading Premier League clubs. City have been leading the race for the Ghana international, who scored a last-minute winner as his current side beat Tottenham on Wednesday night, and a medical has been organised for his move to the Etihad. But Redknapp, speaking on Sky Sports, said he'd heard Liverpool could make a dramatic late attempt to bring Semenyo to Anfield. Redknapp said, "I'm not so sure. I've heard there might be a little bit of a twist. I think Liverpool could still be in the equation. I think that, I've got to be honest, I think if they did come in, why they perhaps haven't come in as strongly, I'm surprised. If you look at that position with Mohamed Salah and how long he's going to be at the club for, we don't quite know. If you've got a player of that quality and he shows he's a match winner, he turns up in the big moments, why wouldn't you be in for him? I'm not saying it's a Sky Sports breaking news moment, but all I'm saying is, I've heard tonight that it might not be the foregone conclusion that he's going to be having a medical at Manchester City. There might still be a little twist, and I hope so. Mark Guehi and January transfer hunt. Manchester City. Questions answered. Your Manchester City. Questions answered as our chief City writer, Simon Bajkowski, looks at the hunt for defenders in the January transfer window. There's no shortage of Manchester City topics to discuss as Pep Guardiola's men look to compete in 4 competitions this season after the disappointment of last season. We've got every game and press conference covered for you, but we also know that there is so much going on around that. That's why we are holding regular Q&A sessions with our chief City writer, Simon Bajkowski. The day of the week it comes out on may change depending on what City's schedule looks like, but essentially this is your chance to get an answer on anything you want. Simply comment on the Q&A article when it comes out, or respond to the brand account on social media, and Simon will wrap everything up in one place. This week, there's a defensive crisis to look at that is impacting on City's plans for the January transfer window. Pep Guardiola needs solutions after seeing Ruben Dias and Josko Gvardiol ruled out with significant injuries. It's a nice idea, but I don't think it's one that would work on a number of levels. City want to keep Omar Marmoush for a start. It really isn't long since he was a key player in helping them to get Champions League football, having only just signed for the club. And even if this season hasn't gone to plan so far, there is no need to panic. Aït-Nouri should return to help O'Reilly, and he needs to because, you're right, the youngster has looked knackered for a while now. Things are tough enough at Tottenham without them selling some of their best players either. That would be a bad look for them in January. There are, as with any signing that City look to make. They have a list ready for the summer that they are interested in, while also keeping tabs on Vital Rice on loan at Girona to see if he will be ready to come in. The injuries to Dias, Gvardiol and Stones have forced City's hand to look at moving their plan for Guehi forward, and they will also be assessing options that weren't on the list for summer, but could work for this month. Getting those names is a different matter, but they are working on different options. On a similar theme to the last question, Guehi is not the only horse in the race for City this January. Guardiola spoke in his press conference about a creative solution, and the club have certainly done that before. They pinched Abdulkadir Chusanov and Reis last January when others had moves lined up for the summer, and signed Dortmund's fifth-choice centre-back in the last week of the 2022 transfer window in Manu Akanji, and that turned into a M-Setter stroke. I think City will be working in every week of January to try and get something done, while also hoping that Stones can return. Manchester City given Mark Guehi transfer update as Crystal Palace hit by Nathan Ake. Decision Manchester City could consider a January transfer raid as Crystal Palace hint at transfer decision. Crystal Palace boss Oliver Glasner admits he is unsure whether Mark Guehi will stay at Selhurst Park past the end of the January transfer window. The Eagles captain is out of contract at the end of the season and won't be signing a new deal in the capital. Guehi, who saw a move to Liverpool break down in the final days of the summer window, will likely have his pick of clubs come the end of the campaign, with top Premier League teams and European giants among his potential suitors. Manchester City have an interest in the 25-year-old, and the injury crisis at the Etihad Stadium could prompt the Blues into trying to tempt Palace into a January sale. Pep Guardiola has ruled out a spending spree this month, but that isn't to say City won't move for Guehi. Whether a deal can be done remains to be seen, and Glasner admits he's unsure on the short-term future. The Palace boss also hinted that he wanted to sign Nathan Ake, but that deal is now off given the Netherlands. International is required at City amid injuries to Ruben Dias, Josko Gvardiol and John Stones. Glasner said, "Maybe the opposite. Maybe we wanted to buy a player from Manchester City and now we can't." On Guehi, Glasner added, "Again, I don't know what will happen in January. It is the 6th today. Honestly, I don't know what will happen. All I know is that Mark will play tomorrow against Aston Villa. I don't know what will happen." Manchester City, Mark Guehi transfer reality as Liverpool and Arsenal stunned by January. Move Manchester City are reportedly expressing interest in signing Crystal Palace defender Mark Guehi in the January transfer window. Manchester City are reportedly formulating plans for the January transfer window in a bid to salvage their title hopes against Arsenal. The Gunners currently hold a 6-point lead at the top of the Premier League table, with City and Aston Villa trailing in second and third place respectively, both level on 42 points. City were forced to settle for point in their 1-1 draw with Chelsea after a late equaliser from Enzo Fernandez cancelled out Tijani Reijnders' opening goal at the Etihad Stadium. Arsenal, meanwhile, claimed a 3-2 win over Bournemouth earlier in the weekend. The January transfer window is now open, providing City and the rest of the Premier League with an opportunity to bolster their squads with new signings if they so